So if somebody, let's say that somebody offered you the opportunity to direct then a Hollywood film with a $100 million budget and said, make this appeal to, the world masses, would that freak you out?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I love stories, and again, I love engaging and connecting with people. So it wouldn't freak me out. I mean, I would say that in this age of like bigger, stronger, faster, my impulse is to go smaller, simpler, truer. Like in this pace, I feel like I want to slow down and retreat a little bit, and part of that is making films in a very modest way for a little bit of money with a very small and tight and creative group of people that I really love and respect, as opposed to go big or go home. I'm like, that's not my, go big or go home is not my philosophy. It's more go inside and be as truthful as you can in this kind of crazy medium that involves a lot of collaboration. What authentic thing can come out of that could resonate with a whole bunch of people that are maybe also misfits, dreamers, and, kind of creators.
So it doesn't sound...
Like, what is that point of connection?
I mean, it doesn't...
I don't feel like you gotta go big and spend a lot of money to do that. I mean, the only, where it gets tricky is that when there's two things. One is that I personally, although I might be naive in this, think that if you make something handcrafted for a little bit of money, it doesn't mean that it's amateur or low quality, or that, you had to make it that way because no one believed in it. I think you can make that as a choice, but I also think that when you make something in that way, there's so few people that are really invested that it's very tricky to make a big bang. And in fact, that's where you and journalists come in, because you're actually our gateway to find those small little, rough gems. You are our mouthpiece, because the films can't compete on their own. So through writers and journalists and critics, like, those small films can actually make, for something that's made with so little resource, can actually make a big bang. That is the most exciting thing to me. When I see that happen, that's so much more exciting than a huge $100 million film making a big bang. Because I'm like, well, obviously that will make a big bang, because they're just throwing a whole pile of money on it. But when a small thing breaks through, small personal work breaks through because people champion it, that gives me faith to keep going. Like, that actually inspires me.
That's great to hear. I mean, and I just feel like so many people have a misconception of, smaller independent films as, intentionally going against the grain or something. And it doesn't sound like that's what you intend to do. I mean, you said it yourself, that you're still trying to find things that will resonate with people and that will appeal to people. And I feel like films like yours, I watch them and I can see where maybe somebody who is not necessarily, somebody who I think is going to see, let's say, X-Men every weekend. I mean, I don't think that necessarily that's somebody who is going to watch an independent film or who's even going to seek out an independent film. But I watch your films and I think these are things that everybody, no matter what their taste is, can sit down and watch this and get something out of it and feel inspired by it, or feel something from it. And I feel like people are just so resistant to do that, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I guess it's accessibility. Like, you have a $100 million budget, you're going to be in every single theater on every single corner. And I that's what I think is so exciting about the Animal Project being so accessible around the world all at one time. It's going to be easy for people.
I agree.
It's going to be easy.
So I hope that, I'll do my best to kind of make that be known. I mean, at the end of this social media and grassroots on the front lines, kind of push, I can't force people to go online and rent it or buy it or show up to the cinema, but my goal is that people at least know it exists. That's I feel what I owe the actors and what I owe the crew. And that's what we can do as filmmakers, right? So the first person that comes up to me and says, "Oh my God, I didn't hear about the Animal Project," and then you know what that does? That first time I get disappointed and I go, "All right, next time I just gotta go more."
Yeah.
I just gotta do more.
Gotta push yourself.
Because that's the kind of unacceptable thing to me, that we make these films and that people aren't aware of them. That's sad.
Mm.
And there's always this kind of stigma of, oh, you should just cool out and let talent rise to the top and people will find your film. I just think, no, I don't think so. My friends have to be in my face about their theater productions and about their films. There's too much stuff going on all the time. It probably takes 5 hits of information in different ways for me to actually get to something, because so much is competing for our attention. So as filmmakers now, even though we have access to audiences, we have to work, I think, 10 times harder than I did even 5 years ago to make a dent. And that's just the job of it. And I think filmmakers, directors, maybe they just want to stay on the creative, but I think they have to become kind of traveling salesmen.
Yeah, well,
saleswomen, salespeople. You just have to develop that, because counting on other people to do that work is unrealistic. Everyone's really busy.
So, do you actually do things like in "I'm a Good Person, I'm a Bad Person," where you're, that little the headpiece that you were wearing with the fake blood on it?
Yeah.
Are those things that you actually do?
No, but I'd say that's total metaphor.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm wandering. There's 2 things about that. One is, she's exhibiting something. Her film is called Headshot, so it's a way to get attention for her film, but it's also a way for her to get attention, and it's also exhibiting that she's bleeding from her head, and that's sort of, metaphor for this film existing in the world, and actually no one really cares and no one notices. It's what do you have to do? Do I have to saw off my arms? What do I have to do to ignite, to engage, to get people's attention for a work or for a human being? We are just so overwhelmed. So it kind of was a nod to that. And I was amazed at how long I could walk around Berlin with my head in that bloody wrap, and I would say maybe 1 in 50 people would just take a second look or ask me if I was okay or something. But generally people didn't even notice. So that's not which is funny to me.
Tactic that you've used, going out on the street and just standing there all day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, God.
I do want to talk about that film a little bit. If you are we still good on time or?
Yeah, I'm still good. I'm being pulled downstairs a little bit, but absolutely.
Okay, I just have maybe 1 or 2 more questions. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.